Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the more survivalists, and Rose Namajunas said better dead than red, and the commie fuck snowflakes took offense. Folks, this is Fernando doing another video for the more survivalists. Honestly, stick around for this one. I'm going to be covering a little bit of some of the things that are very important. It may not seem like that at first. It may seem, oh, man, you're just talking about what? Rose Namajunas, she's an MMA fighter, a female fighter. She's going to be fighting a Chinese fighter by the name of Zhang Weili. What has this got to do with survival and preparedness? Well, it has to do a lot with freedom, liberty, and pursuit of happiness and the quality of life you and your family enjoy. How about that? Is that important for you? For me, it is. And this is all under pressure. There's a huge threat to that as we speak right now, especially in the United States. It is amazing the way things have developed over there in ways that people simply did not imagine. Right now, you see this as a massive, huge threat. So, Rose Namajunas, a fantastic female fighter. If you don't know about her, I suggest you watch some of her videos. Very talented, very skilled lady that has been fighting for, from a very early age in a number of different disciplines, and she's a very gifted technical fighter. Very, the mind aspect of all of this is obviously there. Very interesting person as well. She's an American fighter of Lithuanian background, which is going to be coming into play specifically here with this famous quote of her, better dead than red. She said this like in one of these videos. I'll leave the link below where she's talking about the fight that's going to be happening for UFC 251 April 24th. She's going to be fighting Zhang Weili, this Chinese tank of a fighter that obviously under the influence of steroids. You see it because of the muscle mass is simply impossible to reach by any natural method. It's simply not possible for a female to have that body. She looks like a little Mike Tyson from China, basically. You have the traps, disproportionately large, huge traps over here. That's all typical of steroids abuse. And a lot of it. It's not just a little bit. It's just pumping steroids through those veins in a very unnatural way, okay? Honestly, talking about the fight, I wish she wouldn't even take it. I mean, I see someone like that. If I'm a woman and I see that, what are you kidding me? No, I'm not going to be fighting that lab freak. Give me an actual human being to fight, not that freak of, not nature. This is as natural as coronavirus. That comes out of a lab as well. So yeah, that body doesn't come naturally. But specifically about what she said, better dead than red, and this is where everyone in the media, especially the left-wing mainstream media, how dare she say better dead than red? Poor Zhang Weili, she's not a commie, she's just a Chinese fighter. Look, if China, if you're wearing the Chinese flag in any sport competition, you are a tool, you're a puppet of the communist regime in China. There's simply no way around that, because China would not allow it to be any other way. They're not going to be having someone that is not supporting the party and be visible and have a public image. That doesn't happen in China. China is not free. China is not a free nation. It's actually the exact opposite of that. You are just a puppet, a cog in that machine and nothing more. You'll not be allowed to have a different opinion. You will not be allowed to be of a different opinion or view. And you will not be even allowed to be silent and not agree with them. Does all that sound kind of familiar with all the woke bullshit that you're being force-fed right now? Silence is compliance. That sounds similar. It sounds similar because it is. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference is that when you put a little bit of makeup and call it BLM or social justice warrior crap or whatever it is, it's the same thing, just a little bit of makeup. You're not allowed to be different, to have a different perspective of things, to have a different political opinion on any of this at all. Alright, so why is it that Rose said this? And I'll leave the link below. You will be able to see her, how she starts elaborating, and she slowly gets to this point of saying better dead than red. Well, because of her Lithuanian background. Look, she's an American fighter, but she's very much aware of her roots, where her family comes from, and I think that's a fantastic thing. It often happens that people think that, same thing in Argentina. I'm from Argentina, and in Argentina a lot of people used to have this mentality, probably many still do that. Okay, I'm Argentine, then I have to get rid of any baggage that I have. This was very typical of the Spanish immigrant, the Italian immigrants, that once they were in Argentine soil, they start waving the flag, we learn the country, and we just forget about anything else, because that makes us less Argentine. This is very same thing for lots of folks in the United States that think, well, you're not Italian American, you're not, you're just American, and that's the only thing you are. Well, yes, very much so, but you still have a history. Your family, if it comes from somewhere else, that is part of who you are as well. I don't think it adds up to just ignore what your family has gone through, your culture, and stuff like the type of foods that you eat or like, some of the things you enjoy doing. All of that doesn't make you any less American or any less Argentine, in my opinion. It just adds up and makes you a better person. That is exactly what happened with Rose Namajunas, and that's exactly why she says better dead than red, because of her Lithuanian origin. She speaks fluently Lithuanian. There's videos of her talking with her grandmother, so she's very much aware of all that culture, very much aware of all that history, and that's why she thinks the way she thinks. It's a combination of, she says it in the interview, she talks about the American dream, she talks about communism, about China. All of that is based on what she learned, maybe as a child even, about what her family went through in Lithuania. For those of you that don't know, during World War II, the Red Army, Soviet, invaded Lithuania. The former Republic of Lithuania suddenly became the Lithuanian Soviet Socialist Republic. They even replaced their flag with a hammer and sickle and the star. So they basically were invaded and occupied by the Soviet army. Mass slaughtering of the civilian population, destroying the cities, looting, mass rape of children, women, anything, killing innocent civilians in mass. I mean, it was a complete chaos. So that is why she probably has this understanding of, yes, these animals, they're not even people anymore, they're animals, and that's why you're better dead than red. That's why you just do not give up to tyranny, because that's what it is. And she has a history where they suffer that in the flesh. So all these complete assholes and idiots that take offense, they just do not know what it's like to be in a country that is invaded by the Soviets, and where you have your women and children raped, and your civilian population slaughtered and killed like animals. And you have these beasts occupying your country for 45 years. Only in 1990 was it free from the Soviets, and finally became once again the Republic of Lithuania. All right? So how dare you say that she hasn't got a right to think that way, when probably her parents and grandparents escaped Lithuania because of the savagery of the communists. All right. So of course, and she may say that she hasn't got anything personal against the Chinese, the steroid substance abusing fighter. That's perfectly fine. But there is very much something in terms of, yes, she does not stand by any of that bullshit, by any of that Chinese government communist agenda going on. And she's actually expressing a very strong political opinion as of how she's the exact opposite of all that. All right, and that's why it's important. Man, I wish she does win. She's definitely more talented, but the substance abuse is definitely there. I wish she just wouldn't take the fight against that thing. There's just it's simply not fair. The muscle mass difference is huge. It's not just about how strong you are. Maybe it's not even all that tall, all that big. But when you're built like a male bodybuilder, you can take an amount of damage that doesn't compare to a real woman. And the force with which you hit is simply not comparable either. It's like putting a guy on steroids fighting against a woman. So yeah, that's it. folks, I think I'm going to be doing more of these videos talking about some of the social aspect of what's going on for you to help folks identify all these little clues, all these little tricks that the left is always using so as to have more control of the population, so as to weaken people, make them depending on the state in ways that you probably haven't seen before, and it's only getting worse and worse. Folks, if you want to prepare for all of this, as I always say, you have my books, Street Survival Skills and the Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, so as to get ready for not only what's going to be happening, what's already happening around the world. See you in the next video. Have an awesome day. Take care.